so let me introduce you to Mitul. Mitul, I'm sorry, I don't have the formal bio, but I can tell Manjari that Mitul is a very nice person and I'm very fond of him. But he does great work. He's running this Dikshant International School, and well, in Chandigarh we have this we have a whole lot of literature festivals that carry on throughout the year, and most of them are most of them are organized by Mithul. The last year, of course, was a lean season because of the COVID, but well, he does a lot of work like that. And festivals based on different themes. Incidentally, his school is a very forward-looking. I would say it's a very futuristic school because he seems to be thinking way ahead of his times. And the kids are very bright. I've seen them at those festivals. I've seen the way they respond to the speakers who are brought in. And Mithul himself is a man of many talents. You find him scuba diving, you find him going to the North Pole, to the South Pole, you find him going to Arunachal Pradesh, and well, all sorts of things, Mithul. I'm sure, well, we should have a full session with you, to discover.
Thank you
yeah,
so
to
much
discover the
for
person
that
that you are.
introduction. I mean, to be honest, we started the Chandigarh Literature Festival in the year 2012, and I must congratulate you that in between I've been logging through the sessions, and a very well put up literary festival. I mean, during this time also, I mean, the way it has been done, all credit to you.
Where we
And
learn
I'm a
from
big
each
fan.
other. We
I'm a
learn
big
from each
fan.
other. We learn from each other. And Manjari is another one who has been organizing festivals in Pune. So we have Manjari who organizes festivals in Pune, and Mithul who does it all the time throughout the year, for mainly for his the students of his school. But then universities are open, colleges are open in Chandigarh. And very soon Vivek Atre is going to join us. Sakshi, any sign of Vivek Atre? So in any case,
no, ma'am, not yet.
Right. So we are going to be talking about literature festivals for obvious reasons. In Shulini, this is the first festival that we've organized. And Ashu, why don't we bring you onto the screen? Ashu, join us. Yeah. So this is Ashu. Ashu and I have, we have conspired together. We have been fellow conspirators. We've been thick as thieves and plotted and planned, and we put this festival together. Ashu, Manjari does it in Pune, Mithul does it in Chandigarh, and Vivek also does it in Chandigarh. Vivek will be joining us very soon. Let's hear what they have to say. So let me begin with Manjari, because our conversation was already going on. Manjari, tell us about the festivals that you that you have in Pune.
So yeah, so we in 2013, we started the Pune International Literary Festival, and there was a reason behind it. By that time, as an author, I was already feeling pretty, that I wanted to do something different. And strangely, I was never invited to any literature festival ever across the country. And I began trying to understand this, and then I realized while I was studying it that there is a particular kind of section of people who's invited to certain lit fests. And I, of course, as a natural conclusion to that, I realized that Pune, being the Oxford of the East, had no festival at all. So it became a very, natural growth from just being a writer to an organizer. I said, Pune needs a lit fest of its own. And that's how the Pune International Literary Festival was born.
Mithul, tell us about your experience organizing.
Initially, in 2011, I really wanted to start with a children's literature festival. As Manjuji put it, we have schools over here. And so one of the senior authors from Chandigarh, I mean, we did not have a literature festival in Chandigarh. And the first thing, while discussing...
Correction. In 2009, we had the first Lit Fest by the Chandigarh Sahitya Academy.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the second, I correct myself, the second literature festival. So this friend of mine said that, we don't, we need to start a festival, for writers. So that's how the first edition started. And we had some creative differences with this. I had some creative differences with this senior writer. And so we started in 2012. And after the first edition, I got Altaf Tayawala as the festival director because he attended the first edition. And that's how we had a more focused literature festival, because there are a number of I think the last we counted, we had some 65 literature festivals happening in India. That was 2 years back. And
Okay.
Another 15 or 20 would have been added. So we were very clear that we wanted a very focused format. And we took Terry Eagleton once said that great literature needs great criticism. And that's how we based our literature festival on, 2013, we invited 14 critics. We pick up the critics and they nominate a book each. So that's how, we don't have any personality driven talks. The whole festival focuses on books. So that's something, which differentiates the festival, what we do in Chandigarh.
Ashu, I think that's a very good concept. Don't you think so?
So hi Mitul and hi Manjari, and thank you so much that we are doing this session, because of course Manju is very experienced in this field, but I come in as your target audience, the ones that you hold festivals for. That is me. So I'm coming from that perspective, and we are talking about perspectives here. I teach a course on creativity at Shulini University, and there's a concept called putting things upside down. So I think this is a perfect example, and Mitul, I'm going to steal this and share it in my class of so that's what we do. So like I teach management students. So we say, you go into a store and you have to go to the checkout counter. How about the checkout counter coming to you? That's putting it upside down. And that's precisely what you have done. And very interesting, because we had one of your participants as a moderator for a session, Mitul, Mihir Pandya. I don't know if you remember him. He teaches in DU, and he was remembering you very fondly. And he told us, and he was telling me about some very interesting stuff about the people that he met, and how you asked people also to choose maybe a film, and film critics come and talk about.
We have 3 films also.
Yeah.
We do have 3 films also, and the format is the same. That we invite the critics. We pick up 3 critics for the films, and they nominate a film each. Yeah, right. Sorry.
No, that's just wonderful. I think that is a great idea. Manjari, tell us more about the Pune Lit Fest and what the things that you do there.
So, well, we like to call a festival with a difference, and a festival with a heart. So the reason for that is that we always have a social theme attached to it. It's not the whole festival, of course, but there are 4-5 sessions, dedicated to that. And there is always a kind of a social pavilion, social awareness pavilion. Mm-hmm. So in the second year, we had animal welfare with focus on tigers, saving tigers and adopting street dogs. Then we had the image of India, we had women rights, we have children rights, but that's not the whole festival. Mm-hmm. So that is why we focus on certain social issues and we dedicate some space for it. Then we have an exhibition on a legendary author. Like we've done Agatha Christie, we've done Enid Blyton, we've done Jane Austen, and we have a really huge exhibition displaying their entire life and their journeys and what motivated them and how was their childhood and all. So that's one part. Secondly, we have a children's stream called the Treasure Island, where we have, only for children. And we have other 4 parallel sessions going on, which is like discussions, talks. Then we have workshops. We focus a lot on workshops, whether they're creative writing or anything related to that. Film shows, we might show a film and, analyze, like he said, like we could, have an analysis or whatever. So our basic focus is that It is a hub of creative energy. You know, when whoever goes to the festival should come back feeling, hey, I've got something out of this. It's not just blah, blah talk, but there's something that we've really gained out of it. And a whole lot of inspiration, because we have inspirational stories. We've got something called Yours Truly sessions. So we have, you know, a film made on a certain personality. We invite that person, and then we have a one-to-one conversation, you know, about his life and how he did it. Then, like I said earlier, I was never invited to festivals. And I think if I had in my earlier days, maybe as a writer, I would have had more opportunities and, you know, more growth. So what we focused on is that not only do we invite celebrities and mid-list authors, we also focus on debut authors. So we have something called Why Buy My Books. We invite debut authors, we give them 8 minutes to pitch their books to readers. And so that is their chance to really reach out to a readership, because you know, the big authors already have the readers. It's these little, you know, new venture people who have ventured into this entire publishing world. They are the ones who are completely lost and don't know how to get their book to the reader. So we have this platform. So we think of lots of ideas to make sure the festival is a wholesome, knowledgeable, creative experience for everyone.
What is the footfall like? How many people do you have in your festivals?
So, of course, this year was an online festival, but last year it was 18,000 over 3 days.
That's a big number.
Yes.
So very,
But
very
we started off with 1,000. Okay, let me tell you that.
Oh,
The
wow.
first year and the first 2 years were really very bad, and we were even thinking, should we continue with this or not? Because considering the effort and, you know, the speakers who come in and the logistics and all, it just didn't make sense. But we stuck on, and from the third year, things really changed, and I think it's really one of the good festivals of the country today.
And how commercialized is it? Because you see, we've been going to Jaipur, and there it is like a Kumbh Mela. Huh?
Oh.
And it's quite commercial as such. You know, there's more of fanfare and less of literature. So what is
No.
it like there?
No, like I said, it's a festival with a heart. So we are very focused on books and creativity in all fields. So it could be films, it's not only books, it's the written word in all forms. So you can have a script, you can have journalism, so we have all that put together. But let me tell you something about Pune people. You know, the Punekar is very famous for being very, very discerning. He or she will only come to a lit fest or for any such kind of an event if and only if they're really interested in it. They won't come there to spend the evening and, hey, let's check it out. No, it's only if they're interested in literature. So that's Pune is very famous for that. We are very snobbish people that way. You know, I mean, whatever. So to kind of woo the Pune crowd, you really need to bring in good speakers, some speakers who would really pull that crowd. So it's not a mela. It's a quality festival, I feel, at least. And
That's
I
how it
think
should be. That's how it should be. We have Vivek Atre here, and Vivek Atre is from Chandigarh, and he's been organizing a lot of festivals too. Vivek, why don't you tell us your experiences in organizing literature festivals?
Yeah, so good evening, everyone. I was a little delayed. I was playing a cricket match. We got a little over the time. So I was involved with the setting up of the Chandigarh Literary Society, as Manju ma'am, you know. You were also there, and we set up this society. We started inviting speakers one-off. Anupam Kher came when he became an author, then someone else came. We got big ones as well as small ones or new authors. Then we started doing something called Literati in every November at the Lake Club. And for the last, I think we've done about 7 editions. We couldn't do it at the Lake Club this time. We did it online in November. But it's been a great experience. We've had typically 2 days of sessions and speakers from all genres, all types, all categories. Since we are in Punjab and Chandigarh, we also have multilingual sessions. So we have mostly English sessions, but we have at least 1 or 2 Hindi and 1 or 2 Punjabi sessions, perhaps Urdu also at times. So we try to mix humor as well as, you know, fiction as well as non-fiction, and film script writers as well. We've had inspirational people like Ruskin Bond coming in, and we've also had film personalities coming in. So it's been a mix. It's a good experience, I guess, since your question is about the experience of organizing it. I think we've got a good platform, and people look forward to the event. We've been able to draw quite a good galaxy of authors over the years. I think Chandigarh's audience is at least as discerning as Pune's, if I may say so. They know when to clap and when not to clap. They know when to laugh, when not to laugh. When to buck up the author and when to pull him down. So that's my take.
I was wondering, do we really need these festivals? What is the importance of these festivals? Mitul, would you try talking about it? Do we need them?
We do need them because, majority of the
Hello.
festivals, I think, are inspired till the time, it became Mela.
Mute themselves in the back.
So, and if you see the number of, I believe that we have more writers than, readers. That's the problem that has surfaced over the years. So each of these writers need to be probably go to different festivals and they get an opportunity to showcase their work. One of the things, which made us come with, celebration of the books and this focus format was that the experience was drawn from, a number of, panel discussions which happen. I've seen panel discussions where you would have 4 or 5 authors, speaking and probably and at times, they've not read each other's works and they hardly know each other. So that's one thing that, we avoided in our festival. But yes, ma'am, I think there is something, very, very, we do need the literature festivals.
Ashu, would you like to jump in here? Why do we need a literature festival in Shulini University?
Mitul said something very interesting, that more writers than readers. So that's my biggest worry. This next generation, I was talking about this in a session today as well. There's so much overload of content and it is coming through technology right to your phones. So even in my case, I've seen, because I was at least a fairly good reader. And in the recent times, when you engage on social media, when you keep watching videos on your Facebook, these are interesting things, you can't deny that they're not interesting. So if you have a 5-minute video about a topic, you get engaged, you start watching it. But that reading habit, that focused spending of a few hours every day with a book, that is really going away. So I am still wondering, and there was an Urdu session where one of the young poets mentioned that, we don't even have enough data about this yet as to how it is going to affect the habits when it comes to literature. This technology, the role that it's playing, we'll know only in a few more years after we have more data as to how it has changed. So I feel that if we have the power, we must have the intervention to at least, see that the students, particularly in a university environment, get exposed to things in a big way, on a larger scale. So at the end of the day, the consumption of content is a very personal choice. Like Shubha Mudgal was on today and she said, I can't force people to listen to classical music. They either enjoy it or they don't. So my point is, I don't want anybody who has not listened to classical music say I don't like it. I want to expose them to it in a way that they kind of, understand, or at least begin to understand what it is, and then make that choice. So I come from a viewpoint where I say that students need to be exposed to a variety of things, which is beyond what they pick and choose on their phone, where they are not being guided. So this is a guided way of leading them to different directions and say, okay, go here. Do you like, say, the mystery genre that Manjari is writing? Do you want to explore that? Do you want to explore the humor that Vivek has written in his books? Mitul says he wanted to do a children's literature festival. Those are the impressionable minds. And Manju today was mentioning a lot of things about, what do we feed our children in terms of literature, because they have impressionable minds. So I come from a point of view that I want to give a lot of exposure to people so that their choices are widened and they are guided in their choices.
The problem that often arises is that, as you said, we have more writers than readers. how do you get your audience together? How do you get your audience together? Because even in Chandigarh, you have a limited audience. And bringing them to listen to a writer, they might come for a short while, but then ultimately what happens is you have the writers on the stage and maybe a handful in the audience. So how do you deal with this issue, Manjari? How do you get your audience? How do you get your audience?
Yes, it's difficult. It's very difficult. And the first thing I tell every speaker who's coming is that I will not guarantee audience. I'm very brutal about it because my job is to give the platform and to create the whole, infrastructure and bring in people, do social media, do publicity. I do everything from my side as an organizer, but I cannot get the reader or the interested person from the house onto, into that event. So it's not only my job. So I do tell every speaker to promote it on their pages, wherever they can, talk about the festival, so that at least people who read their books will come to listen to them speak. I think that's the only way to do it. And of course, people wait for PILF to happen now because it's the only, big event, a literary event happening in Pune other than the Sahitya Sammelan, of course, the English event. So they wait for it. So now, because of 8 years, it's got a name of its own. So people do turn up. And of course, the other big thing is that you have to, no matter what you think, get in some big speakers, because only when people come in to listen to these big speakers, other, the other writers are heard. I mean, there's no option to that. There was one year where we tried not getting Bollywood, and the audience.
That is why we got Manjari.
We had a footfall problem.
That is why we got Manjari, we got Vivek, we got Mithul.
No, I mean, it's something we all have to face because there is no option to that. So although they do bring in the crowd, they bring in the glamour, and those, when people come to listen to them, they also listen to the other authors, which is a great idea. So you have to look at it as a big holistic solution, as a solution to this, that you have to do your best to get an audience. But despite that, I do tell the speakers, I am not the only one responsible, to bring in the audience. You have to work equally hard.
Vivek, how do you manage it? How do you manage the audience? Because so many times I find that in Chandigarh, there are very few people listening to the 4 or 5 people on the stage.
Yeah, it's an up and down thing. I think there are popular authors and speakers, and as Manjari ma'am says, people do, authors do promote their own sessions, and it depends on who's speaking at that time. Some authors get very little audience and others get more. But I think it's also to do with various other factors. It could be the day of the week. It could be people's priorities. If there's a festival season, people just go somewhere else. You see, books and literature are a low priority area for society as a whole, unfortunately. So the catchment area of any lit fest in any city is limited to, let's say, 0.5% of the population of that city. Let's say. And if that is the case, then out of that 0.5%, you only get 1/5 of those coming in actually. So the numbers are limited, but the quality is high in an audience. In our fest, at least I've seen. So you won't have people just passing by and coming and sitting at the back row and making cat calls and all. Nobody's like there for that.
No.
It's all serious people who turn up, and if they're there, they do listen. At times we have a full house. At times we don't have a full house. So I think, and we have a trick which I can share with all other organizers. We do pick up about 100 chairs after the opening, and when the big guys have gone. And if we have 400 chairs in the beginning, then we have only 300 for the rest of the festival. And that's good enough for us, and it works well.
And
This
what
I
does-
learned from the government, but
What does Mithul do?
nothing to hide.
So
have
over the years, because we over the years have moved to the university, because ours is a very, very, as I said, focused. I mean, it's kind of a literature class because a critic discussing a book. So it works for us because we've moved to the university, and the outsiders also come to the university. So at least the departments and the English department, or other students,
They are all involved.
there. And that's where the real focus should be, because grown-ups, literature has to be some kind of at a very young age, it has to be entertainment. It has to be sold in the form of entertainment. It can't be that a friend very rightly, when we started with the Children's Literature Festival, the first thing, what we decided was we're not going to sell it as, even for children, we're not going to sell it as green vegetables.
Okay.
It has to be entertainment.
Uh-huh.
So exposing them, and I think it's more of a contribution in terms of, when you go to the university, you have at least the young readers coming in.
Mhm.
So that works for us.
Manju, if you may, if you allow me, can I ask a question to all?
Of course.
So I look after the online education in the university as well. And what we have discovered in education this time is that, there are some, of course, drawbacks of being online as far as teaching is concerned. But the advantage for us was that we were able to pull in people from as far as the US and Europe, and people we knew, experts in subjects, to come into our classrooms. Do all three of you in the festivals that you will organize in the future consider that as a format where you have a blended kind of a festival, and you have somebody, say, from the US speaking to somebody, say, sitting in Himachal, over a platform like Zoom, and you have a huge audience sitting in a hall and it's beamed in the hall? Manjari, starting with you, would you consider that?
Absolutely. The experience for our online edition this time was really amazing because, like you said, when the logistics, the calculation and the logistics fell out of it, we could get in a lot of international speakers. For example, we got in Jane Goodall, Dr. Jane Goodall, who would otherwise have not come at all to India because of a busy schedule, her age, and a lot of other things.
Right.
But she readily agreed to be a part of this festival because all she had to do was just go online at that given time. So that was a huge advantage. And we did get in a lot of, international speakers. So that really, and of course, the hassles of organizing this whole travel and stay and all, it just got driven away. And certainly I think next year, if all is well, I will have a blend of online and physical.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, it's a plus for us.
Yeah. So Vivek, you do it on the lakeside on Chandigarh. How will we do a blended format in that way, where the setting also, like Manjari was talking in her session, that her cities are characters in a book. So I think the setting is also very important for LitFest. So how will
No, I
you manage
totally agree. I think it's going to be a blended event, but the lake will remain as a picturesque venue. I think what we will plan is getting a few speakers online, and we'll try and get high quality digital visual displays even in the lake club. And also it helps audiences to join in greater numbers.
Yeah.
So you have a few hundred people at the venue and you have a few hundred online. Hopefully that's how it works. And as Manjari ma'am said, we also had Chitra Devkaroni this time only because it was an online fest. Otherwise, catching her is, the whole world is not trying to catch her. We managed to get her, and fantastic results.
That is why we couldn't manage to get her.
Yeah.
She says, I've already been to Vivek. How can I come next door?
Actually, you and I should collaborate. Why are you doing separate things? Let's do it together.
Mitul, you run a school as well. So what has your experience in online education taught you, which you would want to take to your festival as well?
I think we didn't do the festival this year because it's a very personalized festival. And since Annie Zadi is the festival director, and we initially only decided that we would not have the festival because it's more of, since it's a very, very personalized festival. So online did not work for us. And since it's books and there are these only 12 books which have to be there, nominated books. So it doesn't, with the format, it doesn't make too much sense. But yes, digitally, it could be that we could have the live sessions being recorded and, being put digitally. Digital participation is one thing, that we look forward to.
Yeah. So another question I had is for all three panelists, before I hand it back to Manju, is archiving of your content. And I've been thinking about it. We are churning out such good content. I was looking at it, like I said, I also look at learning. I have been working on, culling out customized bits of knowledge bites, I call them, from our own classrooms. And there are so many insights. I saw a master class on creative writing. I saw so much insights for an English literature student. I saw brilliant stuff for journalism students there. And I would want to cull that out and use it for educating my own students. So I want to talk about how you archive. Do you archive your sessions? What is the system that you follow? So Manjari, first you.
Yes, so right from the first year, we've been video recording all our sessions. So we've got hundreds and hundreds of hours of footage. We edit them and we usually upload them on YouTube, but there's so much footage that we're still doing it because we have at least 100 plus sessions every festival, which makes it about at least 700 plus sessions. And, you know, archiving it all. So basically it's a lot of work, but there's no option because because great speakers come in and you don't know whether they might come back again, and the content and the way they speak is so inspiring, and sometimes I can't get to attend all of them either, so I love to go back and listen to what they've said. So we have a YouTube page and we keep uploading our videos as and when we get time, and I think that's our archive, I guess.
Okay. Vivek, do you do that, archiving of
Yeah,
sessions?
we've been doing it as well. We have videos of all our sessions right from the beginning. And we do have some youngsters recording the minutes as well at times, mostly. So I think we have a lot of written scripts as well. I mean, whatever has been discussed. So I think it's very important as well. And we get some views, I believe, after many years. People just search and they find somebody they like and they watch that session. So I think archiving has to be digital and it's available.
And Mitul, what about you?
Yeah, we've been archiving all the sessions, and I mean that's one thing with the limited sessions we have, the books every year, and we've been putting on, as Manjari put it, that there's a lot of work which is involved, but I think that's an important part of the festival.
Do you put it all online?
Sorry?
Do you put it all
Yeah,
online?
it's live also, plus the YouTube and YouTube channel we're putting all the sessions. Imagine, 2000, I'll give an example, 2013, The Mirror of Beauty, Shamsur Rehman Farooqi. There were 4 critics who nominated his book. I mean, that was in Urdu as well as Hindi and English, and there's another critic from Pakistan who nominated the book. So discussing them in different languages, we had no option, since the critics wanted to discuss his book. So all 3 sessions, archived sessions, think about it being simultaneously put on the YouTube.
Now, what are the other challenges that you face while putting together a festival? For one thing, I know, Mitul, that you have a school and you have a lot of manpower and you have infrastructure and so on, but there must be some issues that you find difficult to surmount.
When Altaf suggested this format, and I got him as the festival director, trust me, it was, this format, I realized that he was discouraging me to continue with the festival, because this format would never have sponsorships coming in, because the way the format is in terms of the audience also, it's a very, very focused format. So we would never have an audience of say 10,000 people or 20,000 people. And for any kind of a commercial involvement in the festival, you need that kind of a footfall.
And in Chandigarh is a smaller city, much smaller than Pune. So the audience remains the same, and it is a very small number that goes to the same sessions every time. So if you have one festival, you can be sure that the same audience will turn up at the other. Am I right, Vivek?
You're absolutely right, and but that's a good thing. We have 2 or 3 festivals in Chandigarh, and I think it's good for the literature lovers. I think it was only once that we got it wrong, Mitul, when we probably had the same dates, and that was very careless of us. But otherwise, we've been having, I think, these festivals in perfect weather in November at different dates, and people look forward to them. And we also know that we have Kasauli Lit Fest in October, which is nearby. So I think it's the literature festival season in October and November out here.
But we got it wrong, sir. But then the writers had a good time, walking into each other's festivals, and the confusion of going to the other festival, being Chandigarh Club and the Lake Club being quite close. So but then
Yeah.
We can add to the confusion as well.
I am very impressed with the way the Military Literature Festival is conducted. They have the entire army backing and I think they do an excellent job. So maybe the finances and the infrastructure, and they have the air show and a lot of other things go into it.
I'm also impressed by the sports literature festival which Vivek sir has started.
Yeah,
Tell us
that's
about it,
also
please tell us
interesting.
about it. Tell
I
us
can talk about that for a minute. So we've
Yeah.
started something called Playwright, and it happens every March. This year we did it in February, actually, in 2020. So we beat the lockdown, luckily. We are planning an online event this time in 2021, but we'll go back. So we get in people who have written about sports, we get in sports personalities, we get in journalists and thinkers and commentators. So I think, in fact, Pune, I think, has another one. So we are the only two sports literature festivals in the country as well.
I think the Times Group also put up something like that in Mount View. When they had
Yeah, that I think it was just one evening. So they did about 3 sessions or 3 hours at max.
the post,
So ours is a 2-day event. It's quite big,
right.
and we really enjoy ourselves talking about sports, which we all love.
Manjari,
what-
when you began your festivals, were you alone or did other people collaborate with you? How did you manage it? How did you put it all together?
So in the first year, I did have
Tell
a
us about the beginnings and how
Yeah.
it grew to this size.
No, so 2013, I did have a kind of a colleague working with me, but we had, well, it just was not her cup of tea. So she just kind of gave up. But then because it was my idea and I wanted to continue with it, I did, so I just carried it forward. But I started my second festival about 2 years ago, which is called the International Festival of Spiritual India for Humanity and Wisdom. And that came about because all along in PILF also I wanted to have some inputs of spiritual sessions, but somehow I just couldn't manage it. But 2 years ago we realized that it was really high time, going by what was happening in the world. I wanted to create a holistic festival which kind of offers you tools to find your direction in life, your purpose in life, etc. And that is how the second festival happened. My team is entirely my family and my close friends who helped me with the festival, and of course our title sponsors for PILF, which is Vishwakarma Publications, and MIT in the first a few years, MIT College. And so, but honestly, it's really, you really need solid backing from people who are close to you, because it's a big dream. We have a 3-day festival, we've got 100+ sessions and lots of logistics involved and stuff like that. So if you don't have a dedicated team of people, it's really very tough to pull this off.
Ashu, are you making notes?
Absolutely, absolutely.
You have
Yeah.
so much to learn, yeah.
Yes, yes. So tell us a little bit about sponsorship. I mean, how do you go about it?
Well, I would be just the wrong person to talk about it because I'm a failure at it. I'm so bad at finding. I've done just about everything that has to be done for sponsorship, and I cannot get when you asked me what is the when you said what is the biggest, the most difficult part of it, it is definitely sponsorships. And every year the festival is growing bigger, and everybody wants us to get bigger names and Nobel Prize winners, but it all costs money, bringing them in and putting them up. They come with so many things involved in it, and if there's no money, you just cannot. The festival can't grow, and I am so poor at finding sponsorships.
How do you manage it?
So I don't ask me. It's really tricky. It's really tricky.
Mitul, how do you manage sponsorship, the financial aspect?
We have the other foundation, and
Other foundation.
the school also backs it up, because long back I'd given up on the sponsorship. The only year we got a sponsorship that was for a very small amount, some 2.5 lakhs from Airtel. And the moment I reached the venue, I could not see anything except the Airtel boards. So I said, we would return the check, whatever you have given, but I can't have your boards everywhere, because there has to be space for the books, because we have a display of the books and those standees and everything with the critics and the books. So I decided to return them the check and never approach them again.
Vivek, what do you do for sponsorships?
I think we bank on the Sarkar, the government, and I don't see any way out for any lit fest which is not supported by the government, because the government is the biggest entity in the country, and I think all lit fests need to bank on. Like Jaipur has, I know, a corporate sponsorship which is huge, but then they have clout, they have capacity, they have presence, they have been there for so many years, and they have lakhs of visitors, so they're different. But I think all other fests need at least 50% of the sponsorship from the government. And the government has the Sahitya academies, they have their departments of higher education, which run libraries. I think networking with the government offline is a good idea. As a tip, I mean, you don't need to go to them just 15 days before the fest. You're going to have your fest year on year. So network with people who are there, although they keep changing, and we know that pretty well. But you can still network and try.
So there must be a reason why you keep doing this year after year. What is your personal reason, Manjari, Vivek, and Mitul, to keep doing this year after year? We have just done one, and it was crazy, but went smoothly somehow, and also because it was all online. But what is your motivation to keep doing it year after year? Your personal motivation, Manjari?
Well, I actually look at it from the viewpoint of an author. Like I said, that earlier, I never had this kind of exposure to LitFest. And I think it's a very important part of an author's growth, to be able to go there, talk about your books, feel the high of actually presenting your book to the audience, meeting your readers, the networking, the contacts that you develop. I think all that is a really essential part of your growth as an author. And that is why I think that it gives me tremendous pleasure to create this platform for authors all over India, or whoever comes from the other parts of the world. But it's actually this whole bridging the gap between the readers and the authors. I just enjoy it. And every year I wonder, why am I doing it? And after it's over, I realize why I did it.
Mitul, is it the same for you?
No, I think I've been finding different excuses every year now from the last 7 years. It started with that the contribution towards the society in terms of good literature has to be promoted. Then I also have had excuses about that with the schools, everybody gets involved, and an important part of training the teachers is introducing them to good literature. It might be that there might be so many teachers who are made to attend these sessions. So if I somebody who joined 7 years back, they have started enjoying the festival. They have started reading.
They respond very well, and they do very well.
There's the senior children also attend, and they get to interact with the authors.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a mix of excuses that I've been trying to find, and that's the only reason. And personally speaking, my father was a teacher, and he's always had a very good library, and from a very young age we were introduced to reading. In fact, the first year we set up the school, we didn't have to invest in the library at the school. He had such a beautiful library. So we've always been in love with the books.
I haven't seen your school in Zirakpur. I must visit sometime.
Yeah, we have a library named after late Kiran Nagarkar, and that's a whole library named after him. And we're also starting with a community. The whole idea of the library was opening it to the people around and making it into a community library also. So we do propose to start with the community library and taking these moving libraries for the children, the less privileged children also.
And, let me share my experiences also organizing events like this. My foray into literature festivals was through academics. because we've been organizing conferences. And we have a society which was formed in 1997. That was the first year we had a conference. So it actually started with conferences, literature conferences. And because we had a society, more or less the same kind of people would come every year. And we became like a big family. And that family has several hundreds now. So what used to happen is that in the evening, we used to sit down and maybe around a bonfire, and somebody used to start singing or somebody would read a book, and there were some creative writers who would do a bit of reading. That is how it really started. So 1997 to now, it is about 23, 24 years. And we used to have our conferences in Hyderabad. So it just kind of grew. And then in the year 2008, I became the chairperson of Chandigarh Sahitya Academy. And I thought it was a great platform to expose my this society, which was like a big family now, to expose them to the best of writers of Chandigarh and also to some people that we'd invite. So we combined the conference with the Lit Fest. The first Lit Fest was combined with a conference. And I still remember we called it the first Lit Fest, and afterwards we started calling it Festival of Letters. This was in 2010, I think February, yeah, 2009 or 10. So that is how it started. We combined it with a conference. So in the morning, we used to have our conference sessions, parallel sessions going on. In the evening, we used to have sessions for the literature festival, so to speak. And in the background, we used to have events for schools, colleges, and the university students. So we had different people put in charge. And yes, the money for the festival came from the government, the Sarkari money that you used to get. We had a nice allowance. And we really need to have a budget if we want to have activities like this. So we used to have the budget initially was about 15 lakhs or something, but then it went up to about 80 lakhs in a year, which was a very decent amount. So we combined the conference with the festival, and the conference was not supported by the Sarkari money. The conference had its own delegates paying, and the advantage was that the delegates would have an exposure to all the writers that we invited. And we invited writers like we had Shashi Deshpande, we had Mahesh Dattani, we had Geeta Hariharan, we had Manjula Padmanabhan, and we had a number of Arun Shourie came, Milkha Singh. Also, we gave him, we had him in one of our sessions. And then we had some people from Bombay, we had Farooq Sheikh. So it really started the trend of festivals in Chandigarh. And after that, Adab Foundation came up, and I remember Nirupama talking to me about it. The Adab Foundation is holding something, and that year I think I was abroad, I could not participate, but then that's how it picked up. And then Vivek and I and some others got together and formed the CLS, which continues its literati. And then there was no looking back. There were other festivals that came up. So if actually one wants to study how these festivals take birth, I think we can use Chandigarh as a case study. But then what happened to the festivals that we organized through the Sahitya Academy? Everything faded away. Everything faded away. Now there is an academy, but there's nobody at the head of it. So probably when the Sarkari people realize that literature is also important, they'll turn to it, they'll appoint somebody, and maybe activities will pick up again. But coming back to your experiences, I was just wondering, what is your dream festival and what is a strict no for a literature festival? I mean, I really know what I do not want in a festival that Ashu and I would organize. I know we have discussed it once. There are certain things we really don't want. So I would like you to talk about what your dream festival would be and what you would, what would be a strict no, would not be included in your festival, in your dream festival. Manjari, anything like that?
Well, I think I'm already in the midst of organizing a dream festival. So
Yeah,
I feel that. I feel I do whatever I want to, because I'm the sole, how should I say, decision maker, because, you know, we do have an advisory board, but, you know, I have all the, so I do exactly what I want to in my festival. normally don't, I mean, all the creative decisions are with me. So I am satisfied at the end of it that I've organized everything to the best of my capacity. So that's something so I feel every festival I do is the dream festival within the given budget and, whatever constraints I have. I'm happy with whatever comes out finally. What is a no-no is that, whining is something that we have not yet introduced. I mean, we do have, dinners, special dinners for authors, but initially in the first few years when we didn't have budgets, we just couldn't afford the wine. And I remember so many authors were cribbing that there was no wine during dinner, or non-vegetarian. In the International Festival of Spiritual India, we don't serve non-vegetarian, okay? Because, well, that's the whole purpose of being spiritual and all that. So that's something I would never do, serve non-vegetarian in a spiritual festival. And if I can't afford the wine in PILF, I will not give it. It's not a must. I don't have to give it. It's like so these are the things that people come with, some notions that they're going to be treated. We do put them up in 5-star hotels and we take care of them and we treat them like stars, but we do them because, we would like to do it. It's not because we have to do it.
Mhm.
You see, there's a difference. And that's something I wouldn't want anyone to force me to do. I would do it with pleasure if I have the money. But if I don't have, I expect people to cooperate and, be a part of the festival as a community.
Mitul, what about you?
My dream festival would be that, I can get an audience of 250, 300 people. We have sponsorships. We pay for their tickets, everything. We pay for everything. And we have those 250, 300 really good audience, which is paid for. And finish off, with expectations of, a growing audience. And yes, it's a great idea that we could call Chandigarh Literature Festival also, we could add a spiritual literature festival and we can get away with the wine and the non-veg. No, I'm sorry, that was just.
Vivek, what about you?
Yeah, I think my dream festival would be where young people are inspired to write more, to be involved with books. I think we need to get in the youngsters and we need to get them fascinated by what's happening, and we need to get them writing more and thinking more about creative writing. What would be a no-no? I think too much commercialization, too many stalls, too many people who are not serious and focusing only on the evening if it is there. Well, we try to get in even evenings which are literary, as in Kavi Sammelan or something like that, or a musical theme which is to do with some sensibilities are involved. So I think we do that. And one comment on what Manjari ma'am said about she being the sole decision maker at Pune, that's fantastic, because here we have about 12 people and we do get into discussions at times. But we know who to impress if we want to speak at Pune now. So thanks for telling me that.
There's something else you can do. If you're a dog lover, you have free entry into the festival.
Yeah.
I'll get
That's my
beagle,
secret.
I'll get my beagle right now on the camera.
That's my secret criterion. I check out whether you're an animal lover.
I'll just get him. I'll get him to pose. I saw the picture behind you.
I prefer human beings. I prefer human beings, not animals.
Okay. Manju, don't say that right now.
So I'm getting a free entry to your festival, Manjari, then. I'll come with my dogs because I'm
Yes.
waiting to move to India. I'm actually based in Abu Dhabi, and in Abu Dhabi, you have very strict rules regarding keeping pets in apartments. So I'm waiting to move to India, and then I'll come with my pets.
Sure. Always welcome.
Ashu, the very fact that Manjari, sorry, Mitul, yes.
Sorry.
No, please.
The pets come to your festival along with the owners?
We do involve sessions with pets. For example, we have pet therapy, then we have, and if any speakers come with their pets, they're welcome. We make sure that the pets,
The audience?
the audience
Manjari,
also can bring their pets in. Yes.
the pets have to be animals.
You can bring your husbands along. That's fine.
I'm going to,
Or your wives.
Manju ma'am, I'm going to tell Vikram you said that. Okay?
Yeah, good thought on Valentine's Day.
Yes.
But Ashu, listening to what Manjari said about the spirituality and wisdom, and doesn't it strike a bell? Doesn't it give you some ideas? Yeah, we have something to follow up with her. Huh? Ancient Indian wisdom and all that. Yeah.
I think our Chancellor, Dr. Khosla, and Vivek is also involved with that work, is into spirituality, a big follower
That's
of
great.
Yogananda. And we have some, yoga retreat kind of or a yoga village, which has been built up. So I think that would be interesting. Another interesting thought came to my mind, Manju, because we have a wonderful library. And we had a session with Sid in Wadukut, who mentioned that he does all his writing in a library in England. I don't know, it was of the border of Wales. I forget the name of the place.
Yeah.
Where they allow they allow the writers to come and stay. So you are off all your digital devices. There's no TV in your room. You just have a radio. They give you very bare minimum, rooms with bare minimum, with okay facilities. Dinner is served at 6:30, but the library is open for you to write, and it's a beautiful library, apparently a very old one, where you can just sit with and have as many books on your table as you want and sit and write for 24 hours. So he says that he kind of finishes his final drafts there because he's based in London. So he says he takes some time off and goes there. So we have a beautiful, and he was describing that it has a skylight with the sun coming in, which is very similar to the library we have there. So we picked up a few good ideas. So a writer's retreat, maybe, I don't know.
But we do have a retreat, the Yogananda village that we have here. We have a writer's retreat. We have those cottages, and incidentally, that I live in one of those cottages. So well, that can also always serve as a retreat for a writer.
Right.
And well, there is a lot we can exploit in this
Talk
about,
about,
location.
Right.
So with that, do we have anything else to discuss? Any other ideas?
Any comments, or if you have followed our festival? I don't know if you have had a chance to look at any of our sessions, and anything that you want to say about that, that would be great. Vivek, we can start with you.
Yeah, brilliant initiative. I think really very heartening for a first festival. I think it's a laudable initiative. I think it should be carried on in the same spirit. I have also liked the Vice Chancellor's idea, Atul's idea, that it should be combined with the flower festival, perhaps, when it happens in the campus. People will fall in love with nature and books once again. So fantastic idea.
Mithul, did you watch any of our sessions?
Yeah, a couple of sessions, and I think this whole idea of, I've seen a couple of photographs which Manju ma'am has been sharing, and it's a brilliant, beautiful campus, and also followed Vivek's this spirituality section which has been added. It's a brilliant idea, and somehow, with these initiatives, and at least two of them being involved, whom I've personally known, I find the university very progressive, and really looking forward to visiting the university. And I mean, it's something, this whole region needed a university like what the kind of work which is happening at.
I have been trying to get you here for so long, Mithul. I've been trying to get you roped in. Huh?
Manjari, I don't know if you've attended any sessions, but you must have had a look at our schedule. Any comments on how it was, and did you find it exciting or not?
Yes, of course. I did look at the schedule. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend because, like I told Manju, I'm not here. But certainly, I think you've done a super job. And also, I love the video that Manju shared. It was very exciting. I loved, and your posters and everything were very well done. So and from what I saw just now, the way the video was going on while we were waiting, I think it was all very professionally done. It was fantastic. I wish you good luck for many, many more such festivals. And I think, LitFest should be an inherent part of every university or every college, because that's how reading is going to grow within colleges if they do it. It's a great, great idea.
Thank you so much for all your comments. Over to you, Manju. Anything you want to say?
Well, this is just a thank you session, and we were hoping that the Vice Chancellor Atul Khosla would be free and he would join us. But we have not been able to track him down. I think he's traveling, and well, perhaps he couldn't get connectivity or whatever. But 6:15 was the time when he was supposed to come and say the final last words to us. And we've been waiting. So meanwhile, what I would say is let us introduce you to the people behind the scenes if you haven't met them. Let me begin with Purnima. Purnima, yeah. Hi, Purnima.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon. Good evening to all.
So how was your experience? Please tell everybody. Because
So
I know you have been working very hard behind the scenes, and I am quite ruthless in many ways. So please tell us, what was your experience like?
No, you are not, ma'am. Definitely not. But these are the 4 lines which I want to say, if with your permission. We started the fest with gust, you and I, escalated our wings under the sky. There were moments of joy. Some brought tears to our eye. Silence floated within us for long some time and had goosebumps on the other side. With each session while we skipped a beat, but unsaid emotions paved its way in the mind. Each movement whispered like a sweet tune to the soul, to stay there for the lifetime, to stay there for the lifetime. It was really an amazing experience. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Purnima. Thank you so much. Neeraj, what do you have to say?
All I have to say is the whole literature festival, hosting literature festivals, first literature festival was beautiful. And I'm looking forward to host it physically next year. That is all I have to say, ma'am.
Thank you, Neeraj. Sakshi, what about you? You've been the host for the day. You know, they took turns. They took turns. The first day it was Purnima, the second day it was Neeraj, and today is Sakshi.
I have had a jolly good time because I was cracking jokes all day long, and the third day couldn't have been more, it fell on Valentine's Day. And I just want to say to all of our viewers, if you are single, you loved our session, so thank us. Hit that like button on Facebook and YouTube, and we hope that share it. Yes, of course, share it. If you saw it while you are committed, do share with your partners, and just spread love and love of literature, and all the best. And thank you so much to all of you for sharing your ideas on LitFest, how to make it better and bigger. And we will take it to that standard that you have shown us. Thank you so much for being our beacons of light. And that's all.
Thank you, Sakshi. And that is Chaitanya. Chaitanya is not from the English department. He's been working, he's techie, huh? He's been giving us technical assistance. Chaitanya, you have anything to add?
Just like, ma'am, I feel like literature is something like a boring thing or like this, but this thing changed my always.
So we have one convert at least, Manju. And if I may, I have a few people to thank who are not here. So Manjari mentioned those beautiful creatives that we had done for our session, the videos. So some of them were made by our official ad agency, and we have Josh, our guy who does all our creative work for the university. He has been so involved, and I used to have conversations with him. I said, Josh, I'm sorry, we are making you do this, 101 changes, this, that. And he used to say, oh my God, literature is so much joy. I'm doing it for the joy of literature. So I hope, Josh, if you are tuned in now, or if you did tune in into some sessions, I hope you enjoyed it. And the logo is his brainchild. It's a beautiful logo, and you can see that he's a creative person himself. And some of the creatives were also done by our students. Some of the videos that you saw, the fillers in between that Manjari mentioned, were done by our students. So we have a TEDx team at Shulini. They are organizing their maiden event soon. I mean, they already have done one, but an official actual TEDx event in April. So we roped them in, and I'll read out their names because they worked very hard with the creatives. So Ayush Thakur, Jhilika Trisal, Purvi Bhushan, Falguni, Devanshi Kapoor, and Komal Yadav. Thank you so much. You know, these guys just took one day to bring out those creatives, and they were so good, and they were giving Josh good competition. So Josh, if you're watching, we want better work so that the students don't overtake you. So, and it was such a joy to work with this team to put everything together. I mentioned in the inaugural session, we might have set a record because it was only a few weeks. And we must not forget Suhail from the Book Bakers, who helped us get a lot of speakers for our panel. Suhail, if you're watching or if you watch this later, thank you so much for all your help and all your tips. I also want to thank the 3 people who are here right now who have given us such fantastic tips that we are going to keep in mind for our future festivals. And we hope that you can come to campus for the next edition. Manjari, we'll look forward to you. Mithul and Vivek are just in the neighborhood, so they'll definitely, I'm sure we'll pull them in. But Manjari, we have to have you come to campus.
Sure.
Suhail is what I call our knight in shining armor. And Josh, his name is Joshua, and I was telling Ashu, he reminds me of that song we used to hear in childhood. Joshua, Joshua, you're sweeter than lemon squash you are. So Josh, if you're listening, you're sweeter than lemon squash you are. And next year, again, we are going to start harassing you, and you will make lots of creatives for us. So with that, we bring the session and the festival to a close. And I hope we've thanked everybody who has been supporting us. In case we've forgotten anybody, have we?
Kamal Kant, we forgot Kamal, who has given us some.
Yes, Kamal. And Ashok, who gave us chai. Ashok became a daddy 2 days ago, but then he came to give us tea yesterday. And we need to thank Ashok. And Amar also helped us a little bit in between. And well, the whole universe conspired to help us. So on that note, let's call it a day. We've done a good job and we have this high feeling. Bye and thank you very much.
Wow, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
All the best.
Thank you.